Has everyone signed in?
What's that?
See some new faces, welcome. We are streaming live on YouTube. It's at Robeson Review. So it'll be a permanent record of our discussions, which you can access at no charge without the necessity of filing any right to know requests, etc. That stays on the duration of the meeting. We have a hearing tonight. I see at least one of the parties, correct? You're expecting your attorney? No?
No, it would not be intended.
I think you're quite capable of presenting
I know
the necessary evidence.
she is.
Could be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
What's the problem? Court reporter?
Yeah.
Well, we do have YouTube. Speak loud.
We have 2 minutes.
There she is.
There.
Sorry, Travis. Funny.
I'm Debbie. How are you? Yeah, that's fine. Take your time.
Thank you. Yeah, we have some. Thank you.
Did you do anything tonight? Okay. It's right up my alley now.
Well, is anybody here for this hearing? This is a zoning hearing related to the quarry. Anybody here for that? Okay. Well, I don't think it'll be real long, so we have them listed first on the agenda. They were here over the last several months. I don't think it'll be this real one. Right, gentlemen?
Correct.
If you want it.
Making me feel like a dinosaur. They get smaller and smaller.
And it's pink.
I started practicing law 39 years ago, and increasingly I feel old.
Welcome to the club.
Oh, okay, thank you. Might I ask how many color variations there are?
Well, there was pink, gray, black, and white. I mean, who wouldn't take pink,
Yeah.
right?
We generally say the pledge and ask for a moment of silence. Today's an extra difficult time for all of us.
He's always like 15 seconds slow.
All right, we'll call the Robeson Township Board of Supervisors workshop to order at 7 o'clock. We'll first do a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence for all military personnel.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Turn you over to Colin for the Dyer Quarry zoning hearing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Colin McFarland of the law firm Kozloff Stout. I am the township solicitor, and this is the date, time, and place for a hearing on the rezoning petition of Dyer Quarry with respect to their property at 1275, 1215 Rock Hollow Road, which proposes to rezone that property from R1 residential to Q1 quarry to expand the operation of the operations related to the quarry on that site. Before we get started with tonight's hearing, I have a couple of administrative housekeeping matters to address. First, for purpose of the record, I will note that there are 3 members of the Board of Supervisors present tonight. Second, I understand that a representative of Dyer Quarry is here tonight. Sir, would you like to introduce yourself for us?
Danny Funk, I'm the general manager for Dyer Quarry.
Mr. Funk.
Mr. Funk, yes. It's FUNK.
And Mr. Funk, would you like to proceed tonight understanding that you will need a unanimous vote, 3-0 of the Board of Supervisors to effectuate the rezoning?
I would like to, yes.
Okay. Okay, next I want to address how members of the public can participate in tonight's hearing. You have 2 ways to participate. If you are a resident or taxpayer of Robeson Township, you have the ability to voice an opinion in favor or against this matter after all evidence is taken. Or if you are an affected party, you have the ability to participate in the hearing by presenting your own evidence, asking questions of any witnesses, and stating your position in more detail. Would anyone here tonight like to be considered as a party to this hearing? Okay, let the record reflect that no attendees of the meeting requested party status from the board. Okay, next I have some exhibits to enter into the record. These exhibits demonstrate compliance with the municipality's planning code that sets forth a specific process for a textual and zoning map amendment to the zoning ordinance. And that process includes obviously the preparation of an ordinance that's submitted to and reviewed by the municipal and county planning commissions. It includes submitting the proposed ordinance to the law library. It includes posting and publishing and mailing a notice to the owner of the property. And those exhibits demonstrate compliance with the statutory process to effectuate potential zoning ordinance amendments are as follows. Board of Supervisors Exhibit number 1 is the petition to rezone and amend the zoning map and zoning ordinance as filed by Dyer Quarry. Board of Supervisors Exhibit number 2 is the proposed zoning ordinance amendment that will be considered by the board for possible enactment tonight. Exhibit number 3 is the public hearing notice that was again published in the Reading Eagle, posted upon the property and sent to the owner of the property in question. Exhibit number 4 is the proof of publication for that notice from the Reading Eagle. It was published in the Reading Eagle on August 28th and September 2nd, 2025. Exhibit number 5 is actually the corrected hearing notice. The aforementioned hearing notice listed the wrong address for the subject property. The subject property is 1215 Rock Hollow Road. The initial advertisement specified the property as 1275 Rock Hollow Road. So the public hearing and enactment notice was republished, resent, etc. I think that mistake occurred as a result of a typographical error on the petition itself. Exhibit number 6 is the proof of publication for the Reading Eagle, from the Reading Eagle, with respect to publication of the amended notice. Exhibit number 7 is an affidavit of posting the notice at the Township building on September 4th, 2025 by Robeson Township Manager, Mr. Harold Steve. Exhibit number 8 is an affidavit of posting the notice upon the subject property by the Township's roadmaster, Mr. Barry Redinger. Exhibit number 9 is an affidavit of mailing the notice to the law library, the stenographer, and counsel for the applicant, as executed by my paralegal, Alicia Klein. Board exhibit number 10 is the Berks County Planning Commission's review letter of the proposed zoning ordinance and map amendment dated August 1st, 2025. Board exhibit number 11 includes meeting minutes from the Board of Supervisors meetings on April 10th, May 8th, and June 17th, 2025, both reflecting that the Board of Supervisors discussed this matter previously 3 times before tonight's hearing. Board exhibit number 12 are the Planning Commission's meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2025, reflecting that the Planning Commission did indeed review the proposed zoning ordinance amendment as required by the Municipality Planning Code. And then board exhibit number 13, although not part of this packet, is entered into the record, or will be entered into the record, and that is the Township zoning ordinance as currently amended. Mr. Funk, do you have any objection to entry those records in, and entry those exhibits into the record tonight?
I do not.
Okay, at this time I would recommend that the board make a motion to admit board exhibits 1 through 13 into the record. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay, those exhibits are now entered into the record. And then briefly, before we begin tonight's quick hearing, I suppose, I'll just give everyone down the procedure. After I'm done, I'll turn it over to Mr. Funk just to make a brief presentation about why the rezoning is being requested and the quarry's intended use of the property, should it be rezoned. At that point, the board can ask any questions, and then we'll open up to public comment. So, without further ado, Mr. Funk.
Yeah, appreciate that. So yes, as stated, various meetings prior to this, we would like to use that property to store some of our overburden and material that we cannot process as a storage area on 1215 Rock Hollow Road, which would then eventually be reused as reclamation to go back inside the area where we remove it from over time after we remove and excavate the mineable material that we have on our property. So that would be the purpose with in respect to 1215 Rock Hollow Road.
Is this property currently vacant?
It is.
And in anticipation of the use, do you intend to develop the property in any way?
We do not, other than storing the material on there as is all we intend.
Okay. Do you agree that you will seek any and all necessary permits, licensures, and approvals from any applicable governmental bodies for that type of use of property?
We absolutely do, yes. It's part of our business, all we do.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Clark?
How many acres was it again?
18, I believe, total. We're not utilizing the entire rezoning. It's only going to be the eastern side of Rock Hollow Road.
And when did you think it starts?
Once we go through all the regulatory, as was mentioned, that we have to follow, we have to do some testing. We would assume that process typically takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days, possibly longer, depending on their backlog. So we anticipate, as soon as that's done, to use it within a short period of time after those regulatory items are established.
So you think it could be this year?
Possibly, yeah.
Is that through the DEP or another agency?
That is through DEP, correct, yeah, yep.
And will you need stormwater permits to store this material?
We would have to have an amendment as well to our existing permit, to cover that area. So that would be part of the process.
Is that an NPDES?
That is an NPDES permit as well.
And have you discussed this rezoning with any nearby property owners at all?
A few that actually had come to us personally and asked, but yeah, we haven't. So other than that, it's just in their name.
And how was that received?
Fine. Yeah, there was almost zero pushback, if you will, with not any major concerns. Yeah, the one had asked about, what it's going to look like from the road. And I explained to her, as we mentioned in some of the meetings, where we have the privacy berm and trees being planted, just like we have in our other areas of our property coming around Rock Hollow Road, right by Quarry Road. So it's very similar to that from the road.
So you do intend to minimize visual impact with screening?
Correct. Yes, yeah, that is part of the regulations as well.
One of the issues relates to our county, and our county advises us that, consistent with the 2030 future land use plan, if you've never looked at that, it is a good thing to look at once in a while, but it basically says the plan supports what they refer to as a logical expansion. I've also had a couple of questions. There are actually two different quarry zones in the township. This is entirely within Quarry 1 district. There is a second quarry district named Quarry 2 near the borough line that also has a permitted use of landfills. This has nothing to do with landfills, strictly quarrying, no real changes in anything. So I know some people are concerned with that, but I don't think that's an issue. I also would make a comment that I believe the quarry has been good neighbors, tried to be community players. So with minimal impact and in an interest to support local businesses, particularly under the circumstances, I'd, when appropriate, certainly make a motion to amend that map.
Before we
Yep.
get there, just another follow-up question for purposes of clarity.
Yeah.
You are requesting that the entire parcel be rezoned,
Correct.
but you only intend to use about 18 acres of it right now?
Less than that.
A little bit less?
Yeah, correct, it's a little less than that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have no interest in crossing the road whatsoever.
Does the board have any other questions for Mr. Fung?
No, I have none.
Okay. At this time, this is the opportunity for members of the public attendance to comment or ask Mr. Fung questions. Would anyone like to voice any opinion on this matter or ask Mr. Fung a question? Nothing? Okay. Let the record reflect that nobody chose to exercise their rights. Okay, well, at this time, the hearing has concluded, and I would recommend that the board make a motion to close the hearing with a vote on the ordinance to follow thereafter.
So I'll make a motion that we formally close the hearing.
7:15.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll follow that with the motion that we approve the request as outlined in the petition as a result of the testimony provided tonight. And that will cover the entire tract, putting it in the Quarry 1 district.
So, Mr. Feather, you're making a motion to enact this ordinance?
Yes, I don't have the number. Do we have a number?
25-2.
25-2.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fine.
Ordinance is enacted. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll let you depart unless you want to stay.
Thank you.
Twice.
Good night.
That's it. All right. Citizens' concerns, and I see it, there's an A here, is Carol Donahue here? If you would like to discuss the library.
Well, first I'd like to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to come in this evening and just say thank you for your support. Robeson has been supporting Village Library since 1990 when they had the groundbreaking. And I believe that you have some papers that I sent over, if I suggest to keep our times short as possible. If you could look at the first paper, if you have it there. This is just showing from the Berks County Public Library the impact that receiving funds or not receiving funds has on our library. So the county does a dollar per dollar match when municipalities give to the libraries. And when that doesn't happen, it's not that we are short just the 7,500, but it actually ends up being the 15,000 plus the amount that the state would give for that. That we don't need to really look at the funding formula sheet per se if you had a chance to look it over, but on this paper, it talks about that when you do support at $1 per capita, the library, you get an incentive. And then when you support at $2.50 per capita, it's another additional bonus. And at $5, there's another additional bonus. So, and just to let you know, I began as the director in 2014 in March. So I've just been here over a year and a half. And when I started on, I discovered that there was not a contribution in 2023. The funding formula goes out 2 years in advance, so that didn't affect the library in 2024. In 2025, though, it did impact our financial budgeting, and it went from not a $7,500 loss, but an actual around $18,000 loss to our budget. So the library board had to make the decision to reduce hours of the staffing to just like a skeletal crew, just so that we could balance our budget for the 2025 year. So for 2026, if you would look at the map that I sent you, I wanted to just kind of show you how the municipalities are allocated by the state when service areas make an agreement with the libraries. And the numbers that you see there are the 2026 numbers. So in 2026, the village library will receive $1.07 per capita. And I know that you talked at your workshop meeting that you had in August about Boone and Exeter, so I just wanted to highlight that Boone is at $3.02 per capita, Exeter's at $11.31. And then you also have Mifflin right nearby, they're at $2.66 per capita. So I just wanted to show you where we are in that range. Village Library is the lowest in the county regarding their per capita. I have the other numbers if you were interested, what other libraries receive. But I did want to point out the positives. I personally became a part of the library because my family grew up in that library and absolutely love the work that the library does there. And why I was committed to serving on the board for 6 years, being a volunteer for many years, and then taking on the responsibility as the director last year. Our library has had over 47,000 patron visits, which is the 7th ranking out of 23 libraries. And we've had over 300 programs last year, which has an attendance of 2,700, as you can see on that paper. The stats there show $1.11 per capita, and that was from 2024. And that Robeson Township's residents have saved over $290,000 by using the materials that are within the Berks County Public Library system. And I wanted to just emphasize to you that the library, and I have to get this so that I say it correctly, that your contribution that you give to the village library is not just for the village library, but you are actually supporting the entire county through the libraries, because we are sharing our resources. We have van drivers that come daily and pick up materials and take it to all the other libraries. And so we are working together, and your support is the participation that you give towards us that also benefits all the other libraries around you. So I just want to say again, thank you so much. I've appreciated and valued our library that we've had, and we just want you to consider. I know that you had received my email regarding the increase to possibly $2.50 per capita, and I know I sent that letter out in June of 2024 also requesting that. And I would just say, you know, even if I had sent another email just requesting the $7,500, because I'm not trying to burn any bridges. I would love to have an established relationship and support Robeson Township as we have for many years at the village library. So if even to continue at just the $7,500 would keep us out of a very financially difficult situation. Do you have any questions that you might have about any of that?
No. No.
All right, well, thank you so much.
No, well, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Anyone do anything tonight, you wanna wait till everybody's here, or?
What was in the budget, Harold?
So
We haven't released it yet.
no, I think we just got the request for it.
Well, she didn't do the request.
I sent an email.
I said, we just got the request, it was
Yeah.
like,
I did send,
They-
after I
we
sent the
had-
18,000 email, I did immediately send out another one with an apology to Harold that I had a misunderstanding about what I was supposed to be
No, I never
sending.
do.
So,
Haven't we?
Yeah, we've done it. Oh, ma'am.
Yes.
We've gotten increasing, I'll say, demands on the money. So much so that I think going forward in years to come, it's going to be some difficulty in this township. So it's not that I think we don't wanna honor long-standing commitments or traditions, but I think, at least from my perspective, everything's gonna be examined going forward. So, but if it's in the budget at this particular point, I'd make a motion to release the $7,500.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, roll call, Mr. Rhodes.
Yes.
Mr. Bitler.
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Okay, ma'am?
thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other citizens' concerns this evening? Name and address, please.
Hi, Carrie Mounts, 2482 Hay Creek Road. So, you guys know about this, but 21 Hazlet Lane, as well as 2475 Hay Creek Road, There's been logging going on there for 4 weeks, starting anywhere from 5:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock. Logging trucks all day long. Found out they have no permit, it's my understanding. Interestingly enough, they were able to obtain a permit in a day. I have serious questions about that, considering we have to wait for permits. So legal notice went up, and in less than 10 hours, 12 hours, there was a permit there for logging. So I have problems with that. I also have concerns about the water that the homes around us coming off that hill are going to be receiving from the amount of trees that have come off that property without a permit. There's probably 4 trucks running a day at least.
How many acres is that?
What was that?
How many acres is that?
So there's,
62.
How many?
62 total.
62.
so there's 2 separate parcels. One's a 13-acre parcel, and then whatever the other one is.
50, 12 and a half, something like that.
So a bunch of us in the neighborhood are now concerned about the water we're going to be receiving from that hill. My understanding was it was selective cutting up on the spar side. They can clearly see in. To me, that is not selective cutting. Kenny's
I
side,
don't wanna interrupt you,
sure.
but just for clarity purposes, are any of her complaints contained in the August 29th letter we have from our code?
No.
So all these complaints are separate from those?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Miller, I'm not familiar with what that is either, so I didn't know the answer to that.
No, I wasn't asking you, I was asking.
Thank you. So down on Cindy's side, and John's, it's pretty clear cut now, and there's trees laying over properties that they don't belong to.
I mean, I own
Your name,
Cindy
your name,
Liz,
please?
I own the former
Could you
Norfolk Southern
put your
Railroad
name
bed.
and address, please?
I own the
Your name and
entire,
address.
Name and address, please?
I'm sorry,
Your
Name
name and
and
address.
Your name and address.
24 Lloyd Lane,
And your name?
Cynthia Liz. Okay, and I purchased the Norfolk Southern Railroad bed from Norfolk Southern, and the entire length of the railroad bed is now just being lumbered and trees falling all over the place. There's not a lot of branches, but legally I own from the center of the railroad bed 30 feet out on either side of the railroad bed, and they are just completely tree after tree after tree after tree down the entire
Now,
railroad
with
bed.
these emails, so, in a nice way, what the hell happened?
Okay,
I mean, really, I mean, this is really what it comes down to. I mean, how did this start without permits? How did it continue for a month?
so the person that purchased the 50 acres with the A-frame on it did have a logging permit. And then he decided that he could just continue logging his son's piece, which is 12.69 acres, I believe it is. And that's what they did. And it was when I got calls that we started investigating and come to find out there was no permit for that,
For both or just the one?
just the one. Now, she's correct, it was supposed to be selective cutting. I have not been out here, so I don't know, but as the forester explained to me, or the guy cutting the trees down, they're not supposed to be taking anything less than 16 inches. But that's not what's being described, by the residents out there. I've also received calls from other residents that they were felling trees onto their property. Now, I told them, go talk to the logger and he'll fix whatever the problem is. It seemed to me there was a communication issue between the guy that owns the 40-some acres and not relaying any information to the logger. So people would call this guy and you voice their concerns, complaints, and he would never say anything to the logger, so the logger couldn't fix it. So we had the stop work order issued, and she's correct, within 12 hours, there was a permit cut and they're waiting for it.
So the other question to that is, how the hell did that happen?
Well, I just don't know. As a matter of fact, I even asked
That's
the
what
guy.
her question is.
It was selling first thing this
I
morning.
asked the guy and he said he just called and they got him the permit. He didn't know anybody.
At 6:30 this morning, I was down at our shop, and I pulled up the driveway and there were two young men at the top of, parked in our driveway, and they crossed over and I saw them tape over the stop work order and with the new, so I waited till they got out of my way so I could get out of my driveway, and I went up and took a picture of it.
With the new stop work order or the new permit?
That was the new, it was the stop work order was underneath, they covered it with the new permit, the new zoning permit that they had.
So, I do have, a meeting with, the vice president of Technicon tomorrow morning, between 9:30 and 10:30.
Technicon provides services to the township for a number of things, code enforcement being one of them.
So clearly this is a problem.
Absolutely, and we've gotten a lot of calls about logging and complaints. There was one other one that occurred where the conservation district actually went out and did give some violations. Things have changed from over the years that they no longer have to get conservation district's approval to do any logging. They write up their own little ENS plan, and as long as they follow it, who's there to watch them, they're fine. I did talk to the conservation district, and it did not appear there was anything that would like trigger something to make them come out. There was no stream crossings, or was nothing like that. So apparently they are allowed to clear cut. They can't remove any stumps, and I think that they have to reseed any.
So clear cutting is allowed?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was allowed.
Just
I thought it was a
Where's
permit.
the driveway?
Just tell me what's related to this.
Where's the driveway at?
I mean, don't you need some type of, they're planning on building tons of houses, I mean, you
Well,
need some type of
The driveway for
subdivision
the
or
smaller
something.
houses.
Just one person.
So there is no driveway for 2475 anymore, it was ripped out. We used to own that property. The driveway has been removed from that property. There used to be a home on that property. The home was removed as well as the driveway. It's currently wooded, kind of went back to nature.
So how are they
so to
getting
say.
these logs out?
So the logs are coming out from 21 Hazlitt, from up on top,
Which comes out on the Mullen Hollow.
which comes out onto Mullen Hollow.
There is tree after tree, I mean, you hear it starting 5:30 in the morning, boom, 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 all day long for a month now.
Well, they when they came to pick up this permit, they were told that they were not permitted to start till 7, and if they did start, we would send the police out to write citations.
Well, I mean, for 4 weeks, they did not follow that permit.
Right.
For 100%. Again, when it first started, I think we were all kind of like, oh, the neighbors are taking down a couple trees. But as it continued, in our neighborhood, everyone started texting, what is happening? Why are these logging trees? Why is there truck after truck after truck going? These saws are running from morning till night.
It's not just one saw, I mean, it's probably 4 or 5 at one time, it's all you hear
It's
constant,
constant.
and then you hear crash,
On
crash,
every
crash.
side of the hill, it's going
And now
on.
it's coming down on our side where they're falling on the side of the hill where the road is in front of our house, and I know how logging works. They cut the tree, take the good part, load it on the truck,
Right.
and the scraps are left there.
I mean, the branches
now
are
that's
scattered
what-
on the
that's what we're
railroad bed, I
looking at.
can't get up the railroad bed.
You don't pay for the view, which we know.
Oh, Colin has something to say.
The unfortunate part is that, yes, they should be following our hours of operation and the permit, but broadly speaking, there's an act called the Agricultural Communities and Rural Environments Act, okay? And that act treats logging and timbering like farming, which means that our power to really regulate this and stop it from happening does not exist. They should be following our noise ordinance and our hours of operation regulations generally, but there is state law that restricts our ability to actually prevent this from happening because state law says that loggers and harvesters have a right to do this type of activity even if it's that intense, with 5 or 6 saws happening.
If it's logging in the farming sense, then you log to replant, to grow trees, to cut them down again, right? This is almost like, this is almost like making a little private development on the hill now.
So I can't give you the definition verbatim, but I know that the definition of timbering under that act is very broad.
But you're right, that would be good reforestation.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But,
But that's not the purpose, as we all know.
well, my understanding is they're, and I haven't talked to them, I only talked to the logger. Their intent is only to rebuild the house that was there at one time. They have no other intentions. I'm just telling you what I'm told.
There's,
I'm hearing 3.
well, there's 8 children, and we were told 5, at least 5 homes is what they're planning. And again, this comes back to what is going to happen to the water runoff off of that hill. It is going to be bad.
Our well sits at
Ours-
the base of that hill in front of our house.
Yeah.
So whatever they're doing up there,
Is coming down to my well.
and there's no silt fence, there's no
There's
control.
nothing.
Now, those, logging machines that drag the logs out, they're making deep ruts in the property and, you know, mud everywhere. Now, we haven't had rain, but when we do get storms.
Couple things. First, Technicon should be reviewing the ENS plan submitted with that permit application to ensure that what's actually happening on the ground is what's represented in the permit application.
Was that plan in there?
It is. It's pretty
Two is with respect to water discharge rights. To the extent that they are funneling water on your property, you may have a cause of action against the property owner.
Well, we just looked it up, and we looked up multiple sources, and, you know, that is, it's gonna affect our well, because it sits at the base of their hill.
We have had incidences where people log like this and use it to disguise something else they're gonna do, such as short to cut in driveways and clearings for houses and stuff like that. And that all falls, the conservation district will come out and follow up on that. They start pulling stumps, they'll be out.
I already contacted the conservation district and I spoke to them. They told me they're 3 to 4 weeks out, but they do intend on coming out and checking out what has been done. The stumps have not been removed yet, but I know that that is the plan.
That we can see.
They're not gonna be able to remove them, they're solid, that whole bed, they're solid rock. They're not gonna get them out.
Yeah,
Your name,
hi,
please, your name,
Misty Toothman, I'm at 2665 Hay Creek. And I also have been disturbed by the constant and very early sawing. But on the back of my property is the Hay Creek. And that was, you know, part of my concern too, was like what is coming down that hill and then potentially, you know, contaminating.
And the first area where there's clearing right up by me by the railroad bed is like,
One thing that did concern me
It's a
on the
gully.
permit is there's a question on there about cold water streams. That was checked off no.
And they're following.
It should be a high quality.
Yeah, so I don't think that was checked off.
So that may be incorrect, but let me say this just to add a little bit.
If there's, hold on. If there's a misrepresentation on that permit application, that's grounds to revoke any permit that we issue.
You said they're done logging though now.
No, my understanding is there's about another week of logging.
Full speed this morning.
Oh, full, 12 hours today.
Just one after the other.
Figure that out, if that's
I saw 4 trucks go today, filled with logs,
filled
again,
tractor
in
trailer.
one day.
Well, I think what Mr. Steve said is there's a meeting tomorrow with our code. In the meantime, we'll get the file together and we'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
One of the issues has been, at least from my perspective, it's a township, a difficult, selective kind of enforcement. And it seems that some people push the envelope and try and get away with things, other people just ignore it. Some people try and follow the rules, and I think going forward in months and years to come, it's a little difficult to reverse some of those issues and some of the mentality of people. But I'm pretty committed to getting a few things straightened out, shall I say.
What time's that meeting?
And that's not gonna be without pain, because some people are used to doing anything they want.
So,
What time's the meeting?
he's supposed to be there between 9:30 and 10.
If I can say one thing before we move on. Keep in mind that the woodland extraction portion of our zoning ordinance is something that the planning commission and the board to some degree have been wrestling with. If this was done in advance of a subdivision or land development application, then they will be in direct violation of your zoning ordinance. And my guess is that they will need to throw themselves at your mercy and the mercy of your zoning hearing board to get relief in order to.
Yeah, so this is.
So if they need to, or the builder, or the logger does?
The homeowner, whoever the applicant is that comes into you, if these are indeed gonna be subdivided, will be in direct violation of your zoning.
They flat out told us they're bringing their family in to build houses.
That's going to be a
So
problem
it's the
for
yes
us. And
forgiveness versus permission.
So I think what he's saying is this game is not over.
No. If they're gonna subdivide, they should have put all those plans in first before logging, right?
And the plans that we have should be memorializing what they've done to bolster our position with respect to our ordinance.
So the one parcel is already separated. There's two parcels involved here. One has already been transferred into the oldest son's name. That is 2475. That has already been, so that's the first one that's gonna come up. And then it's gonna be, and I think that one will remain. Then I think it's going to be the larger parcel that they're going to go after as far as subdivision plot. Because they said they only want to put one down on this side of the hill and the other one's kind of up top.
Well, let me say again, if that subdivision does indeed come forward, they will likely, I can't say for certain, but they will likely need a zoning variance. The board will get a chance to enter an opinion on that, and so will you folks as adjoining property owners. So please keep an eye on what's going on.
Well, I have a question for one of you two then. So if this stuff, besides that, so this stuff happened for a month without a permit, and now they have one, whatever. But now, is there any consequences, or now they got a permit, doesn't matter?
I think we need to look at that.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at that permit and look at what happened.
And is there confirmation there is streams up there?
Well, Hay Creek.
Bottom of the hill.
At
At the bottom of the hill.
At the bottom, okay.
And again, I'm gonna go back to that question is how did they obtain a permit that fast?
Yeah.
Can
And
anybody,
it's like,
Well, that's what
Well,
he's gonna
overnight.
We're
They had
meeting
it.
with them tomorrow to discuss.
so that's where we'll,
So in the meantime, they can just, I mean, they could haul out 4 more tractor
Well, unless you find
tractor
out,
trailer loads tomorrow.
you gotta find out if there's an inconsistency of that permit.
One of the things that bothers me about the permit is the property owners very rarely ever come in to get them, the foresters or the loggers all the time. And somehow or another, we need to make that, I don't care if the logger comes in, but we need to have the property owner there so they understand what's going on. Because at the end of the day, most of this is gonna come back to the property owner, not on the logger. And the loggers out there want to raise it happen.
So Mr. Smith, to answer your question, stop work order is issued. I think they have a right to appeal that. To the extent that it was not appealed, yet I think they would be potentially liable for fines between the time when the stop work order was issued to the time that the permit application was.
Yes, that was only.
12 hours.
12 hours.
So
The
what
next
about,
morning.
what about the other time?
So in other words, there should have been an appeal process in between giving them a permit to continue working.
I'd almost be willing to bet you if somebody drove through your house and you needed an emergency permit, gonna start even
Couldn't
taking
get it.
longer than 12 hours.
So there's no consequence for doing stuff for a month with nothing approved?
What are the
The
conditions?
violation starts when you issue
Then it's stopped?
the stop work.
Or even though it's been going on for a month?
Because they met the requirements.
I
they
don't
could
know, I
probably say they didn't cross, Chris, they could probably say that they didn't cross over onto the
Well,
2475.
And we thought the same thing, okay, it's selective cutting, you know, we could see some ribbons on trees, okay, whatever, you know, you're trying to get some money. But then it's, like I said, it's like nonstop all day long, just sawing, crash.
And
Tractor
they
trailers
don't
coming
clean
out.
up anything.
Well, all right, so we got a meeting tomorrow, it should be on the agenda for Tuesday. Code should come on Tuesday, which is Supervisor Rhodes sent an email about that, he needed to come on Tuesday and answer questions if you have it. We need to find out if there's a discrepancy.
Not sure whether Ted is back in the country yet.
Well, somebody
take a permit, but, anyway, so you have the meeting, they're on the agenda, somebody hopefully can be here, and they're gonna be here. We gotta find out if there's a discrepancy in the permit, and then, because, see if there's any consequences, it sounds like, no. Does that cover it? There's a meeting Tuesday, hopefully someone's here, find a discrepancy if there is one, and everybody comes back on Tuesday.
Yeah, take that water source.
Yeah, and see if the deals with Hay Creek and permit. So, anything else?
I have a question. My name's John Bliss, live at 24 Lloyd Lane, Grossboro. I understand they're gonna be building about 5 homes there. Is this gonna be treated as a regular development?
Well, that would be, that depends on the layout. I mean, these are face lot, they're going to have to go through the subdivision land development process. As to how it's processed will depend on how their application comes in and what the context of that plan is. If they're using existing road frontage, if they're proposing to construct a private street or public street to access these, but absolutely it will require subdivision land development.
So they're gonna have to get the
State approval.
state permit as well as a county permit.
State permit would likely be
DES.
for, well, that depends, if they're scattered lots, you know, it depends, again, on how it's presented. They could be on their own ENS plans, it could be one full ENS plan, which would likely require an MPS permit. They'll need septic permitting, they'll need township permitting, they'll need county permitting, but yeah, they'll have to go.
See, that's another concern of mine, not only the water runoff, but what about the storage? If the storage gets in our wells,
Yep.
we got a major problem.
Both our wells are at the bottom.
And then, I don't know how familiar you are with that, but I mean, it is rock. I mean, I'm talking rock up there.
Yeah. Because we're down here and these homes are gonna be built up here.
Up there, and it's,
So,
But that process would have to go through the planning module approval process. Our SEO from Technicom would be out there observing the testing. That's not something uncommon here in Robeson Township for that to take place, but I understand the concern.
I have another question. What if they start and ask for forgiveness? Because it's known to happen.
Well, they'll get another one of these, and I'm pretty sure they will not get a permit overnight.
I'm just worried again that we just start doing what we want.
When you
and
say
then
start here, you refer to starting,
whatever.
I mean, they're not gonna get a building permit without an approved subdivision plan,
So what if we start, if we're a foundation, that's what we do for a living, and we just start putting in a foundation?
Is there one?
There is not anymore, but, that's the employment of this homeowner, that's what he does.
Then you'd be back to the stop work order process.
And we know how great that worked.
Well, once again, it's a little bit different because there's no relief given for this. We're in control of this process.
Right.
With the logging, we're not really in control of that process. But we also have built-in pretty hefty fines for violating work orders. Whether we get the district justice to enforce that, that's another question. I had that conversation with you, didn't I?
No.
No,
I know
no,
who you
with-
had that conversation with.
somebody, but they were
Yeah,
calling.
another neighbor too.
So there is a statutory procedure that the township must follow whenever we believe that someone is violating the zoning ordinance, the land development ordinance, or a code. And that requires what's called a notice of violation, right? So a notice of violation goes out and it tells the alleged violator what we think they've done wrong and why. And then it gives them a time period to appeal, whether that's the zoning hearing board or to the county uniform construction code board of appeals. Okay, there's a due process to follow, and if they choose to exercise that right, well then we have a hearing about whether the ordinance or code is actually been violated. If they don't, okay, at that point, at that time, we can go to the district court on a citation for fines and or file an injunction with the court of common pleas. But you know, I understand it's frustrating, but there is due process afforded to go by there.
All right, well, then you'll be back here Tuesday.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for,
Yes, thank you.
for listening.
You're gonna leave, or you wanna stay? You can give you time to look down.
I'm sorry, he said you can leave, if you can give us time to walk
I've been
out.
up since 3:30.
Oh, that's nothing.
He doesn't have a car, so if I don't go, I
Yeah,
just.
I'm just
Thank you for
walking.
listening, appreciate it very much.
Thank you all very much.
It's like it's 62.
It's freezing in here.
It says 62 if I either, right?
68.
68, so then 68. Okay, right.
All right, so any other citizens' concerns tonight? All right, if not, we'll go to correspondence, Harold.
Okay, as you can see in your information packet here, there is an anticipated in Pennsylvania anywhere from 1.5 to 5% electric increase. We need to keep that in mind for our budgeting time. I think I would plan on the 5%, or since we're Med-Ed and they own no generation. There is, in the PSAT's section in here that's pulled up of the dome, which is legislators are looking to.
It's called Beneath the Dome. Under the Dome is like TV shows.
It's called Beneath the Dome.
Oh, beneath the dome, okay. They're looking to encourage EMS recruitment. They've tried a bunch of these different programs. I don't know. I think we've pretty much gone over the next one, which is the logging complete.
Okay. Chief Rimdale.
Good evening, board. First thing I have on my agenda is trick or treat official date. See if you guys would want to request a motion to designate it as October 31st, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
I'll make the motion. We designate trick or treat official date as October 31st, 2025, between the hours of 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.
All right, I'll second. Roll call, Mr. Rose.
Yes.
Mr. Bitler.
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Thank you, Corey. Next thing I have is to discuss the officer hiring. One of the officers is leaving. He's definitely leaving. His last day is going to be Monday the 15th. As I'm sure some of you can see that we posted it out there already. We have to have the applications by October 30th.
30th?
Yeah, that's the deadline, so we're in the process. As of yet, we haven't received any. A lot of places are hiring. It's a struggle for everywhere, so we just have to wait and see what we get, I guess.
You just posted that though, didn't you?
Yeah. Anybody have any questions on that? All right, the next thing on the agenda I have is the locker room. So we received 3 quotes for the locker room. If we would try to have it constructed downstairs in the garage area. The 3 quotes range from $24,000 to about $27,000. $27,000 quote recommended that we put a mini split in due to our heater down there not being exhaust properly. I should say that we would need a mini split there and have that problem fixed in the future. With that though, you can see D, I have resolution for grant. So one thing I did this week is I called Bill Van Etten, and Bill and I used to work next to each other. He was in Spring Township, he was a sergeant there. Bill owns his own company for grant writing. So I called him and spoke to him, is there a grant out there for, and I gave him like the equipment that we needed that might have a higher cost, like the tasers and stuff like that, and like some of the things we want to do to the building. There are 2 grants out there. One grant has to be completed by the 30th of this month. He recommended that we probably won't be able to do that one because we would need bids and everything else. Fortunately, we had them, so we do have everything we believe we need for that grant to be able to submit it for the 30th of this month. The other grant goes to November 30th. Each grant, the application is $100. So I spoke to Harold about it. We thought it was a good idea to put it on the agenda because it has to be put on
first grant, like I said, we have the 3 quotes for the locker room is what we would need. That would be the hard part to get. Then we have to fill out the application, which we're pretty much already done with it. Besides that, we reached out to Taser Axon. The cost of new tasers, getting us up to date with the most recent taser of last year, and this is for 7 of them. For 7 officers, not an extra one, it's $46,000. Yeah, it's pricey. But those 2 things, Bill said he feels would be very viable for the grant. Less lethal, you know.
Is that what you have in there, Harold?
Mental health.
But that's not what you have in your hand, the grants.
What I have is a resolution to, go with the application.
Are they like a specific amount, or are they for the full
I believe,
cost of both?
so I would submit the grant for the full cost of both.
Okay.
We get nothing, we get something. I mean, the grant, I think awards, it's up to $2 million.
Okay.
Distributed.
Yeah, and quite frequently, well, you know from the sewer, we apply for $1 million grants and you get 250,000.
Right.
Which just means you can apply for another grant to make up the difference, or just do a portion of the work.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, but we have a couple things to fill in there, but I think we could.
You have numbers for them?
I do, the resolution's 2025-21. And it's only for the ones who, I think we're gonna combine the dollar amounts for them and put them on one.
For the tasers
Yeah.
and, okay.
I mean, for $100, I think we should try it. We have most of the work already done for it. Bill said that if I have any questions, concerns, or need anything, that he'd be more than happy to help me through the process.
Do you wanna make a motion for resolution 2025-21, and then for $100 for those projects and those total costs?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. For 2025-21 and $100 for the grant.
I would not be committing, should we not get those, to that project at all. So if we get rejected,
Oh, yeah.
does not mean we're
just going for the grants.
project.
Yeah,
We're going for the grants.
This is just for the grants.
Just going for the grants.
Yeah, this isn't saying projects are.
Yeah.
It's just the grants.
I made that motion.
All right, I'll second. Roll call, Mr. Rhodes.
Yes.
Mr. Bittler.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Thank you, Board. And that's all I have on the agenda.
Any questions for the chief?
Nope.
All right, and I guess in our packet and stuff is the monthly expenditure treasury report and sewer agent report for Tuesday. All right, Harold?
Okay, back to me again. All right, so, we did some plow in the, backhoe. Got a lot more than we anticipated. It was 69 and 2,000 something.
2,000 and something.
So, they did go, and, hopefully the guy with the backhoe is as happy as we were to see it go. He thought he was gonna start it, but we had to help him put it on the track. Zion Road violation update, that kind of, just like this logging thing, seems to be lingering. We need to take a more firm approach in some of these violations. I understand that the guy there on golf course, we have several citations against, and they won't go after him until he gets picked up for something else. So, it seems bizarre to me. We've been reviewing the fees that we're charging, and for some reason, we, years ago, decided to put all the fees in the ordinances. I started going through the recodification, and Jason came up and we talked about the alarm one. $10 fee for getting a permit seems pretty doggone cheap. But we would also like to take it out of that ordinance and put it in the fee schedule, so that as costs go up, we can escalate that as well.
For a house alarm? For a
Yeah.
security alarm?
Yeah, $10. I mean, it costs me more to have somebody process the paperwork. I'm not looking for us to make a gazillion dollars out of this. I mean, but $25 would be more appropriate, because you use up 15, 20 minutes of clerical time, and Then we also have somebody who has to input the check and stuff. So it does eat up time. Like I said, I'm cautious because I want the older people who may not have a lot of money, but want the protection of the alarm to be able to afford that. But I also think that we need to, try and get our money covered. Not making money, just looking to break even. I checked on manager's bonds. 2619 is probably the best deal we're gonna get. Somebody wanted $4,000. I said, that ain't gonna happen. Especially when I got one for 26. So it's up to you guys whether you want to do that. I have some other ideas I'll have to talk to him about. Guided board appointments. You guys saw my emails regarding the finances. At one point we were down to $3,000 in their account. The monthly mortgage is over $9,000. So I was like sweating bullets to see the money come in until we met that goal. But it's a place I don't want to be, and I think some of this is just the management of the whole thing. I spoke to the chairman of Union, and he has shown a desire to be the person that represents both Union and Robeson on that board. They will be meeting, I think, next week to go ahead with a resolution to appoint him, but then we also have to follow suit if they do, either approving or disapproving it. I just want to kind of get a feel what you guys thought about that.
Who is it?
Nelson.
No, that's what I was there.
All right, we talked about Gaj's diminishing returns. They also are not doing a good job of collecting the money. There's like $7,000 in outstanding money, and they've done nothing. I talked to Lee, the chairman, last night, and they are now going to start sending out lien letters, pass or real lien, and it usually encourages people to pay up. And I think that we should consider doing the same thing with our own sewer bills. I am working through the process. We're in the final stages of turning everything over to Pam's. I have a couple more pieces of paper to fill out, and I talked to Media Leaks today, and they are putting together a database that we want to make a transfer after October 1st, but we're going to carry the database over to October 3rd, in case we get a couple of stragglers in paying, so that we can close it out. The 3rd is a Friday, and then Friday afternoon we'll shoot everything to Pam's Monday morning, they can pick it up and run. I anticipate that it will be probably 2 weeks from that time that they'll send letters to all the customers telling them, hey, that we've taken over this process, and they're also going to give us a copy of the letter that they're going to send out that we'll post on the website. I was also contacted SystemsNet, and they're going to add a message to our phones that says, hey, if you're calling about your sewer billing, please contact this number. So, we'll virtually have very little to do with that. Yeah. Rock Hollow Bridge, my favorite topic. I managed to get legislative help in moving Med Ed ahead. We have a poll date of next week. So we actually got the 800 call call today, and I sent it to Ryan saying, we're going.
Harold's next step is he's gonna drive to Pittsburgh and pick up the steel beams and bring down the bridge.
Because the guy said, I haven't checked on the beams. I emailed him and said, you want help? We also have to vote on payment of that. It's $11,648.19.
Need that tonight?
Earlier in the day, we've already paid it.
Yeah.
We have, I mean, I had to pay it before we do anything. But I need to, for the auditors, have that closed out where it's in a motion somewhere.
All right, I'll make a motion that we.
So we're ratifying it essentially.
Reaffirming the payment of $11,340.19 to Med Ed for the utility pole relocation, and it's the line item 439.002.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Bittler?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Incidentally, it is not a relocation, it's a new pole. Ryan and I were at a different meeting than Med Ed.
We were in several different meetings.
We're paying them the $11,000.
I sent out the 2026 calendar and meeting dates. It runs a Thursday to Thursday meeting, which allows the staff more time between meetings to get everything ready.
So why don't we, my suggestion, right, I think when I spoke to you about this, a couple weeks ago, whatever, right, is put a week, keep it a Thursday and Tuesday, just put a week in between, like the odd months that we have sometimes, right, where there's a full week in between the Thursday and Tuesday meeting, right, instead of going Thursday to Thursday. Keep it Thursday and Tuesday, just put a week in between there, and the months that already happened, it already handles itself, right? You would just put a week in there, in between each one.
Why not just go to Thursday?
I like your first idea better. Thursday to Thursday.
Why not just leave it Thursday and,
Because it won't work, that thing won't work all the time, because if you look at the months, you know how this.
Yeah, right, it doesn't.
It's not.
And the other thing
it's like
is
4 months.
there's-
I mean, I don't know, it's like 4 months.
There are other things that interferes with.
well, the bigger problem, as I see it from this board, is the lack of consistent attendance, no matter what day that you do it. And I'll have perhaps more to say on that.
Now, the vendors.
Just a quick question. So you're looking at second and fourth? What are you looking at? You're looking at second and third?
So it would be second and third.
Thursday.
So you're going back to the original one meeting a month.
Because we can't do the fourth Thursday because, it would interfere with zoning hearing.
On what Thursday?
The fourth.
So you could consider the once a month, you know, like you used to love it months ago.
Well, the problem is you can't get everything done at one meeting, and there's too much keeps popping up. I mean, we could have brought a pile more stuff if we had had time to put it on the agenda, but you just don't have the time. And Tuesday is almost too close for us to run back, get all this done.
Now, does that give the office staff, I mean, it only gives them 2 more days, right, from what they had before? I mean,
Yeah,
is
but
that enough?
It's 2 more working days, so.
Well, sure.
We get done, we wrap up
That's what I mean,
tonight.
it's 2 more working days.
Friday we have, and then we can't put anything on the agenda on Monday. But if we had a Thursday, we could still add.
Well, I think as the months unfold and January unfolds, we'll be able to look at new alternatives.
So, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get the calendar set.
Yeah, sure.
So we're ready to go.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
And we even blew in the 27th with the calendar week to January 27th.
Oh, okay.
So, you guys got a couple days to mull that off.
Did you cross-reference all, like, voting and everything?
If you look at things, we have, all the holidays are on there,
You know, sometimes one of those gets missed.
and
Well, it would be a Tuesday, so we don't have to worry about it.
I was saying, getting away from Tuesdays, we don't have to worry about elections anymore. And, you know, Mondays are holidays, and, yeah, so we kind of skirted around all that. So like I said, look at it, I mean, you guys don't want to do it, that's fine, internships. Sure could use some help out there, free, paid, smallly paid, trained, untrained.
Where would it be for?
I have files up there that are just going to no end.
Like where would?
I mean, I think we should seriously consider it, discuss it.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's,
but is there-
I think it'll give the office staff, you know, help.
Oh, yeah.
You're not spending, you know, $8,000 of salary, right? Like, I think it's a great idea.
You know, Twin Valley High School has programs for kids.
Twin Valley and Exeter both do, we've used them both.
We actually had Twin Valley students in the past. And I remember the one we had was really good. And, it's, quid pro quo, you just can't just work, and you gotta teach them something, so.
Yeah, and it costs nothing.
What's that?
It costs nothing.
That's right. But while we're talking about filing, all of those files that we purchased from our former SEO, we've gone through them and there's very little value to them, only because you can't match them up with the property they came from. So, it would be somebody's lot somewhere, which has changed hands 5-10 times between 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And then we're trying to match it up with an address. We have no address, so now we have to go back and try to look at plans and try to figure out where this lot came from. And on top of that, after that time period, that system's no longer, that information is no longer valued. Because the soils change and the perk tests are no longer good. We just did one, which we were charged for. I spent a couple hours looking for this thing and finally discovered it failed the perk, and it came up with some alternative septic system for the thing. The only reason we found it was I don't have a plan. So soon we pay somebody a lot of money to sort through and put them in the files. You guys need to think about what you want me to do with them. My take on it is hey, we go through them, and if we can figure out where they went, we put them there. We can't. There's a shredding event in October. Okay. Budget, we need to think about some dates. We still have some things to do, which we could probably knock out post haste. But if you want to advertise the workshop in October, hour early, or you just want to start at 7 and do an hour of budget, whatever your pleasure is.
You can. I'll be rushing to get here at 6.
Oh, well, okay, then, give me an answer on Tuesday, that's fine, but we need to talk about that. The Wix cards.
The bigger problem with the budget isn't crunching the numbers, it's developing the attitude that we're not gonna run to the solicitor right away. We're not gonna run to this person right away. We're gonna stop wasting money. I said that 3 or 4 times in the last 3 or 4 years. That's the problem. And I think
relates to coming up with a budget?
Absolutely. This budget is, as I said before, we have a problem, and it's gonna be a problem going forward. When some may or may not be even on this board, we are not properly, until recently, even have a grasp on what we were doing. And I can be even more specific as the budget process unfolds.
Yeah, and I just keep you guys for a few minutes in a couple minutes, executive.
We have wasted money at this township. We have paid people we shouldn't be paying. We paid them too much. There is no proper oversight. There are files missing. There are files that have not been handled properly. It should not be a secret. And that's not a reflection on our existing staff. It's a problem. And until you confront the problem, you're not gonna really solve
it. Okay, Wix cards, they're all in? They're in service? Have you guys used them at all yet?
I'm not sure.
Okay. The beauty of the card is all the taxes off the fuel before we buy it, and we get, I think 1.9% back on that card. So, we'll see how it goes. And we already talked about the fees and the fee schedule. I think that's all I have for that.
Anybody have anything for the supervisors reports this evening?
No.
We got fire company stuff for Tuesday, minutes and reports for Tuesday. Alright, Ryan.
Alright, good evening, board. Looking at my agenda items here, I'm going to combine items B and D. They are both with respect to the Chestnut Hill application that's before you and your planning commission. That plan received a recommendation Monday evening from the planning commission for conditional final plan approval. So both of those will be on your agenda for Tuesday. with the applicant present to make their request before you. Couple time extensions. The first one's for Rock Hollow Woods. They've requested a time extension to December 31, 2025. I don't know if you want to consider that this evening or wait till next week. Either way is fine.
Isn't this, how many times have we extended that? What's the purpose this time?
So the last 2 times that we've extended it, there was a building permit issue that was discovered through the planning process. If you recall, they filed an amended plan of record to no longer construct the proposed environmental learning center that they had originally had approvals for. They did construct a number of the site improvements, driveway, parking lot, stormwater, etc. And what was discovered through the amended plan of record process was that they had converted an existing building on the property for use by the summer camp attendees. There were several meetings held at the site with the applicant, Technicon, and myself. Intermittent managers were involved as well. And what they had asked to do was put their planning process on hold until they were able to obtain all the required non-residential permits to permit the structure that's at the site to be their environmental learning center. The holdup the last 2 extension cycles has been discussion over paving of a ADA parking space. The applicant, Rock Hollow Woods, appealed to the state L&I board and was approved to not have to pave that site or that location, but to use millings instead. So my understanding now is, based upon that relief, all permits have been issued. I believe they are in the process of working with Technicon to get the certificates of occupancy for that structure, and then they will be re-establishing or moving forward with their amended plan of record process. So
What's the existing deadline?
the existing deadline is the end of this month,
September 30th. I'll make a motion to approve the time extension, December 31st, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Bittler?
Yeah.
I'll vote yes.
Okay. Next item, I'm now jumping down to E, we already hit on D, is the storage magazine facility. They have also requested a time extension to December 16th. They are working on addressing our review letter, as well as they've been asked to supply plans to the neighboring municipality. I know Carnarvon was one, I don't know if you gave one either. They're requesting an extension as well.
Ryan, didn't they pull out of that?
Still active with us, they submitted the time extension.
Yeah,
They were in here, remember? You said they were, didn't you?
well, I thought that they were trying to work through the conservation thing.
Yeah, there's an agricultural security easement on the property that I believe they are working to
Okay.
gain their approval as well.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion for the Hersler Farm Storage Magazine time extension to December 16th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Bittler?
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Okay. Next item for your review until next week, and we did discuss, this was covered in my report. The Zion Road culvert has been completed by Bertolet Construction. They have requested final payment and a change order. The final payment is in the amount of $83,089.30. That includes a change order, which is a contract increase of $2,049.30. The change order reflects the following: a request for an additional $2,500 to address over excavation associated with poor soils. If you recall, we had an issue where the site became inundated. We did work with them to excavate an additional 24 inches, install larger riprap stone to really solidify the base for the culvert, and then install the culvert on up. It also includes a contract reduction of $13.50 in base course and an increase of $2.80 for wearing course. Those were tonnage items. So, the change order reflects the following: a request for an additional $2,500 to address over excavation associated with poor soils. If you recall, we had an issue where the site became inundated. We did work with them to really solidify the base for the culvert, and then install the culvert on up. It also includes a contract reduction of $13.50 in base course and an increase of $2.80 for wearing course. Those were tonnage items. what the true request is here is a little bit of additional money to address that excavation and additional stone it took beyond the 12 inches that were specified in our project spec. I've reviewed that. I think that's a reasonable request based upon the time and materials they put into addressing that situation. So please review that and consider it for next week. But if you have any questions in the meantime, let me know.
And you investigated the complaint out there and?
Yes, we have one very interested neighbor in the project. I have spent time with her and her husband on the phone. I know the contractor spent time with them. The concern began with, we had a fly-by-night contractor and not an approved DEP permit, and it has sort of spiraled from there. I feel like every time I address their concerns, more concerns come up. The latest one was that we were doing a detriment to the stream. The culvert was settling. Barry and I have both been out there. I think everything's well in order. I have no issue with anything our contractor did. I was actually very impressed. And we do have a 1-year guarantee on it. So I have no concerns moving forward with payment on Tuesday if it makes sense.
And you got my email that the 724 bridge in Gibraltar 568 is going to be closed starting in January. It will be closed to the following October. And Allegheny Hill Road Bridge will be closed in October this year. And I don't know what the open date is for that one. We did post the, what's that? Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, we did post the detour route on our website, and I'm waiting to get the detour route for the other one. And I also signed off some more paperwork today for the Allegheny Creek over the road bridge. So that project is still going. It's it. They keep all these bridges work going on. We'll be an island here soon.
And one of the things that we did discuss and we've reached out to is, if you recall in the past, we've utilized a service through LTAP, and that's a local technical assistance program. I've reached out to them regarding Old River Road and protecting that, more rural street once we see this closure on 724. Traffic calming, one-way traffic. How can we protect these residents and our infrastructure when that road gets closed? I haven't received a response yet, but when we're able to get some traction there, I'll update.
So we're on the radar anyway.
Next on the agenda, 2025 street work. Both the paving contracts and coil and chip contracts have been completed. If you haven't driven the roads yet, I encourage you to. Very satisfied with the work we've received. We've only received a payment request in time for our meeting for the oil and chip work. That's from Martin's Paving. That I have in my packet as well, and I will have payment applications for you. They're requesting payment, a final payment of $190,656.32. And that payment also reflects a change order, which is a contract decrease of $3,679.20. So we're a little over $3,500 under contract on that. No request for the paving yet from Alan Myers. I anticipate we'll have that for your October meetings.
And we are contacting our neighboring municipalities to see whether we can once again join in our bidding of road work next year. So right now it's working on it. And the union thinks they should have something here before the end of the year. So we would like to submit our bids or our work out to the bid before the end of the year if we can. I know I'm always ambitious, more so than some of them.
And I welcome that. That's good.
I just pretend on Benedictful.
If the board recalls, last month we had requested authorization to submit a funding application through the County Conservation District to the Clean Water Fund. This was for removal of debris out here at 568 and 724. We were denied, so we did not receive that grant money. We had requested $4,500, and we were told a no-go because we were not incorporating enough stream bank rehabilitation, which Just after the debris. I felt was odd because the purpose was we didn't want to go through the permitting process to get in the stream, so. Unfortunately, we're not gonna receive any funding application, any funding for the project. I don't know what the board wants to do with that. I know, Harold, you did have a estimate from.
We did.
Davies Bar for
Like right around $4,000.
$4,000 to remove that.
Yeah, because you remember there was some traffic control.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's not really on the agenda for action, but if you want to, revisit that, we certainly can.
Not to have the extra time, but maybe we could reach out to FEMA for some kind of mitigation flood money. It's done a lot of money.
Yeah. Do you have a contact? We can talk about that. Final item is, at the last meeting, we had a resident in here with driveway concerns on Township Drive. We met with that gentleman last week, and the road crew is going to work to make a driveway adjustment to ease the transition into that driveway. That will require slightly raising an existing inlet top and doing a driveway transition from the road into that driveway. Barry, I believe, said that they probably get to that in October at this point, since they're still busy with street.
They have some paving work that they would like to do on Buck Hollow, and they had problems with the paver with the start, unrelated to the other thing that happened to the paver. Turned out they had a bunch of corroded switches, which was really surprising because it's a new paver.
So we have an agreement. Hopefully we're able to resolve that issue. So that's all I have, unless you have questions for me. Any questions for me?
Nope.
All right, Kyle.
I have nothing to report, other than to remind the board that it needs to sign the ordinance that was enacted tonight.
Better not.
I don't know if that is it.
All right, Howard, you want to do public works? I mean, it seems.
Okay, I mean, I can run this through. We had also, according, I don't think he has one of this list, but we had a request from Pipeway to put school signs out there. Yeah. I don't know why we all thought we had them, but they were going to go out and check to see whether there are not there. And then we wanted to order, but we were going to add that to the list on Tuesday because that only come in last night. Yeah, Cedar Hill, it's completed. It just needs a line painting. Here's some buggy signs.
They line painted already.
What's that?
They line painted already.
Oh, they did? Okay. Here's some buggy signs that are out there. The Mac that had the little problem is going to cost about $6,000 to repair, and that is at the shop, and we don't have a date on when that be back. Hopefully it's back before its first snowfall. We already told you that the plow and the backhoe have a new owner, and they want permission to allow the Public Works to attend the Berks County Public Works Trade Show in Florida. I sent you guys the flyer on that, and I think it's also included in here. It's entirely up to you when you want to do that. I did not see a whole lot of educational benefits.
Do they normally go to that?
They normally, the last few years they went.
Did we stagger them before, or no?
We've said them before, yeah.
So did we stagger?
You said stagger.
Yeah.
Oh,
said
stagger.
send.
Yeah, it's only 4 hours, or, yeah, 4 to 6, I mean 4 to 2. But, yeah, I'm sorry, 8 to 2. 4 hours.
4 a.m. or something, that's fine.
Exactly. All right, but anyway, they have indoor exhibits, and Menon will be discussing electrical safety. Now, I might want to add, Menon sent me a thing that says, hey, we can have electrical safety training information here for you, brochures, et cetera, you can teach your own class. So I signed up and got one. And they sent cards, and they were really nice cards. And all the brochures that teach you about electrical are all in Spanish. One of million. So Six Toes was offering up to translate. So you see what they have there. I understand they do have contests, texture skills, operate in the backhoe and different kind of things, but it's up to you guys whether you wanna go for it. And I guess part of that would depend on what else comes up in between now and then.
Park and Rec minutes, CAC minutes. Supervisor Bittler says you have a key identification thing.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea that we kind of figure out who has the keys to different buildings. Mine's stamped with a number. There was an incident. So maybe we can have a little chart, and then we can circulate that around so that we know who has what keys and what they're for.
I'll get a lot. Okay, everybody else.
Get a lot?
I'll get a lot, make a lot.
I don't know all these are. What are these three?
I don't know too. That's all I need.
You mean you've been carrying those keys around all this time and you don't know where they go to?
Well, these two I know, these two buildings. I don't know these two, unless it's some other thing that should be in this keychain. Right, okay. And then we talked about the meeting dates. And actually, for old business, Paul, with this website, social media stuff, with all the craziness going on, are you ready to like do the Facebook stuff and integrate stuff, or are you too busy doing a lot of other stuff?
We'll find time for us.
No, I mean, if you're too busy, I mean,
I can get her a cut.
I think the faster we do that, the better, actually.
do you have a Facebook account?
Yeah.
All right, I'll send you stuff to, because the thought was to link the EAC, the township one and the police one, if you can. So they're all intertwined and stuff, but I figured we'd wait until all the craziness would kind of, but if you heard her, she said she'd be all right.
She's overly ambitious.
There was also something with respect to new business that I thought was on the agenda, and it has to do with the signs. So maybe we wanna revisit.
Which signs?
Well, our two signs don't say anything. And it'd be nice to, put letters on them, redo them.
The letters are gone, right? Because didn't they like disintegrate?
There's a bucket of letters, I don't know
I thought Barry had said most of them were.
Barry gave us prices, or he got some quotes from before.
For the digital sign.
Right, but I think, this is indicative of how you kind of drop the ball and don't follow through with stuff. There's just far too much stuff like that. Well, when you talk about the EAC, who's supposed to take the weeds down in front of that sign?
Oh, every month, the week before the meeting.
Well, weed them a little shorter, then hopefully the sign will say something.
Well, actually, most of that stuff's the perennials and plants that are
So it should be dying, and then it goes where?
Well, we'll take it away, that's what they've been doing. They've been bringing buckets with them and taking it away.
Okay.
That's what they've been doing.
It'd be nice if the signs were fixed, if they were used, and, a lot of people drive by that. I had a comment from one resident who said she'd like to see the sign that says tank of death. We sat for months, if not years.
Let's buy a digital one.
Let's get the prices again.
Here, it was $30,000 for our half decent.
Yeah, it was 21.
Right.
Versus,
And if somebody hacks it, we won't have it saying what we want to say.
Well, you can just program it from your office.
There you go. Mini split, we're still waiting on our air conditioner. Now that it's getting cooler out, they'll probably deliver it. And then we'll work on the mini split. The handbook, we're still working on updating it. We're getting more things as time wears on.
executive session? All right, I guess we go to executive session at 8:33.
You familiar with what an executive session is? Executive session is when the board recesses privately
You need me to.
and discuss things that might not be appropriate for them. Personnel issues, legal matters.
Is much more.
Sometimes they take 5 minutes, sometimes they take longer.
You could, I guess one of us.
So you already know that?
I do.
We wanted to answer that.
Well, I was letting you explain to him.
Well, ask her.
How you doing?
I'm not sure, I know.
No, I don't think so.
Jason, I think you need a new heater, not an air conditioner.
I need a what?
I think you need a new furnace, not an air conditioner. Bring it on next time.
So I gave Harold a copy of all of our open Robeson job. Many of them haven't been built in quite some time. So I would say, what would you need help with? Let me know. We can provide you. Once you get to that point, if it's a benefit for you, for us to include that line code on the invoices, let me know. Okay, we can probably make that change without much hassle.
Yeah, because we were thinking about how you code it, and like, do we use your coding, do we use like Scouts coding?
Well, that's just it, everybody's got it.
Everybody's different, so we'll probably have to just do our own coding and stuff.
Well, like I said, we can incorporate that if you need, if that's a benefit.
Okay, that probably would help, but it would not help anyway.
It would not.
Yeah. Couldn't even write, I was shaking that hard, it was freezing. Jason, there's no wording in that resolution, because I didn't know what it was for. Your resolution for the grant funding, I didn't know, so I didn't know if we wanna try, I got an extra copy of it.
It's this one. Yeah, we'll have to sit down and figure out what the exact costs are and stuff like that.
Alright, so do you wanna let me know that and get them, and we'll have it signed and completed for Tuesday?
Yeah, yeah, we just had to have it on the agenda and discuss it and then have it approved by the next meeting. But, we got the quote for the tasers and stuff like that, so I'll get all that down to you.
Yeah, and then I can just put it, because I think we'll have to do our resolution and their exact one as well.
Yeah.
In case, ours is just more or less what theirs is, you know, but in case they want the exact same thing, so just make sure that they sign both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
And we complete.
That's a good idea.
And write the other one on, but then accompany it with ours in our minute meetings.
Yeah.
So you okay that being on Tuesday? Getting it all, I'll have it all completed and everything, and then I'll just do it. Alright. color's really, really pretty.
It's got sharks on it, my husband got it for me.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? See all the bubbles.
And then of course, I took it camping the first weekend I had it, and I dropped it and hit it with a golf cart, so it's got a huge dent in the bottom over here. So I keep the black thing on it so he doesn't leak it.
So you can get a little hammer on there and bang it out on that side.
All the way through to like the inside.
Crazy. That's always the way in the old ones that are lying there. It's like nothing happens to them.
We have my dad's old Stanley Robeson from like the 80s, because he used to work for PennDOT.
Right.
And I would say to my husband, I'm like, I know you drop them in and out dump trucks and stuff in snowstorms, and they're fine. But like these ones, my daughter dropped one of hers and the whole handle fell off it.
For real? That's a good Stanley. You'd expect more often.
It has a warranty, so we can warranty it, but then like they don't send me the same color. Yeah,
Just
she was
curious.
upset because she doesn't have the same color. So I told my husband, like, you just like take it to work and weld it and back on, fix it, just fix it. Tired of hearing about it, just fix it. So.
And it's true, like when you're spending it, $50 on it. So you expect it, don't you? You get older.
Well, and for her birthday, she only wanted one flip up straw. It's leak-proof, it won't leak in her desk at school. Got her one literally the first day of school. She dropped it, got here in my car to go into school and broke the lid on it. And it was like, I just spent $60 on a cup so that it wouldn't leak for you. And then you dropped it and broke the lid.
Get out your scratch tape.
She's like, well, I'll just use one of my other ones. I'm not gonna do that. Just whatever.
You get a replacement lid for it.
Yeah, so I actually sent Stanley a message about it, and it cost me like $10 for their second approval for that.
It's better doing that and have it being used at least then.
For teenagers and
What age is she?
She's 16.
Yeah, that's where everything matters.
Everything.
All image and
She was running late this morning, and I said to her, I was like, put your Crocs on and get in the car, put your sneakers on, and go to school. Because she goes to Daniel Boone, so it takes 10 minutes to school. What if somebody sees me? I'm like, who's gonna see you? I ain't gonna let you walk in your pajamas with no bra on and my hair not done. I'm not worried about somebody seeing your Crocs. Please get in the car.
that's too funny.
I have to get ready for work after I drop you off. Please get in the car. You send me a message from school like, well, I have to pay you. My shoes are in your car. Your shoes will still be in my car when you get home tonight. You can come over and get them. Somebody sees me in my pajamas. Yeah, who is gonna see you? We live in your school district. You don't know anybody who lives on our street. No one's gonna see you.
There's a lot of activity, a lot of people seem to be interested in that house down the streets and the taxi. Joy.
Yeah, that's for next house.
Oh, is it? Yeah. And that's who you probably had. I didn't realize it was right next to you, but I was a bit further. Miss Joy something, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
Bell.
met her like once or twice.
Bell, yeah. So, you probably have a lot of cars down turning around and coming back around.
There's, even before the house there's so many cars that come down off road.
And there's the dead end, like it's.
So,
A poster up. Nothing to see here, keep moving.
we get a lot of people, because we're the last house on the left, right, that farm. There's so many people who come down there and like they'll see us outside and they're like, we have permission to look for arrowheads back here. I'm like, no, you actually don't. So like get in your car and leave before we call the cops, and the cops will come and move you. But we have permission. I'm like, from who? The property. I'm like, no, you don't.
Little do you know.
Because we know everybody who's allowed to get back here, and we don't know you. Like, there's people who just walk in the farm gate down there, and like we'll be sitting out on the deck eating dinner, and I'm looking at my husband like, who is that? Like somebody literally just walked down the street to walk in here. And I'm texting him like, there's a guy back here, here's a picture of him, and he goes, yeah, and my husband has to go and
where we back up, it's where the watershed. So they must have let them go back there to hunt or something like that and go down. Like, right, I'm sorry. And you look at us like poor, you know, when they're newborns and stuff like that. As the Jonas, as this time we started throwing some branches and stuff onto that path. Because it wasn't a legal path, but it was a path he let that many people. And so it's alright for them, but when you've got like kids out running in your yard and you pop in or something, goodness knows like who's coming along. People even came with chainsaws and everything to cut down trees in there. It's like something else. It's the watershed. It's like, and even at the front of our house, there's like a whole bunch of, we're coming to cut down trees in there. Like, it's almost like the rashness of some people. So
Our biggest problem when we moved in was we had like power thick as the end of the street.
right.
There's all the clearing that has a bunch of trees in there. People used to run down that path to go back against red corridors. And they used to go so fast down there that like it killed them. Like I had two broken windshields like the first 3 months we lived over there.
Seriously.
I said to my husband, I'm like, my car is that parked in the driveway. Like how fast are they going?
For that, yeah.
And like whipping back and forth down there. And like he said something to the kids one day, and it's the kid where he lives. The kid, they don't even live over there. Like they were riding their 4-wheelers down 724, coming up there, and I just ride down by the river.
That's milk.
And I'm like, you can't do that. And then we told him one time, like we can see the lights on these cameras. I'm like, I can see them. Something's not right. The whole front of my car, because I usually back into it, especially in the winter, it's like, it looks like I drive on a highway to work every day. Like all the lights on and stuff. And I said to my husband, like, it's full of people riding 4-wheelers down that street.
That's milk. You're like 2 minutes from work.
I know. I have such a long day to work. And some days the traffic out here is so bad when we walk in on the walk. Like I call my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna hose it if you want. I'm not doing this today, but do it.
It's mental because when I come out, like it, whenever I come out, but every time I'm stuttering now, to make a left turn, traffic out there is mental. No matter if it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, like you have to wait until it's dark almost to get out.
And like where we come out of the office, it's so close to that traffic light. It's like,
yeah, because you could make a left.
Sit there for like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just back up and come back through the door.
Oh, you can get through there, can you? That's good. Then, well, yeah. Get yourself a 4-wheeler as well. Could it work?
The car, but with the Jeep. And Tim's big concern isn't like me breaking something. He's like, just don't get stuck. I'm like, if I get stuck with a big truck,
you can walk home.
My husband can pull me out. I can walk home. There was a day my husband looked at me and left me his truck up there. His truck's stick. And I'm not tall enough to push the clutch. Like I could be like under the dash to push the clutch. So I just walked out. And I got me. He's like, where's my truck? I'm like, it's in the office. Like when you're ready, I'll drive you back up and go get it. I'm not like, it's a quarter mile. I'm not gonna die. It's still light out. Like I'm so when you're walking through the farm, like in the dark at night. Yeah. There's foxes. And I'm like, I don't have to outrun the fox. I just have to outrun like you or whichever one of the kids is with me, whatever. Like, so like, I can complain about it.
Yeah, I can't make out his voices. Joy was down there, you automatic and cigarettes in it too. She's in my that's it, the man.
It feels like it's warm out there at 11. Like the air conditioner's not even turned on. And we heat our house at like 65. And I see my husband when I get home from sleep. It is so cold here at night. He's like, maybe it's just because you're not leaving the bathroom.
Not tonight, because that AC was like hitting the wall and bouncing off in the back of my neck, and so you could feel it in the back, couldn't you? Yeah. I was the same. I don't know if they were up here and I don't know, clean the vents or turned it or something, or I don't know, but it's like freezing.
Texting my husband when you come home, I'm sniffing my nose is running, it's so cold in here.
I'm sitting close there, in case somebody thinks and I couldn't write, I was like freezing cold. And I saw you and I thought, God, you're really cold as well, it's not just me, because I know everybody else seemed to be alright. And I thought, man, like,
It's cold.
yeah, and like the AC isn't working in the office. It's not working on the left hand side, but it's working along the back. And you know what? This has been perfect this year. It really has. Like some days it's a little bit hot, but you just walk out to one of the other offices, you're cold out right away. Last year it was oh my god, you had it set the freezing out. I always had to wear a cardigan. I used to take me about a heater all the time, and Gabriel was the same. He said, I says, because you're freaking walking around in your wet t-shirt, a shirt, socks, sneakers on you. This is dress for summer, dress, you know. If I walked around like I do 19, 20 days, I wouldn't feel cold either. Cold.
They laugh at my work because I had my vent in my office closed in the summertime because it was so cold in the office, and I'm still wearing like long sleeves to work every day. Like, how are you so cold? Like, it's cold. It's cold in my office. My office is cold.
Yeah,
But when I'm really cold, I'm wearing like short sleeves to work in the winter because it's warm in my office. I'm adjusted.
It's a seasonal thing. Just not everybody else's season.
Everything's fine. I feel like as long as my plants in my office aren't dying from the temperature, everything's okay.
Plants are like they die from not getting water. I keep forgetting about them. That's like I'm just buying like good quality big plants because they're easier.
I have
I don't know. I just can't grow anything.
all my plants that I had in our house absolutely migrated to work, the ones that lived, because like I want to have water in my room. They're still in our bathroom. I don't get water all the time because I see them every day. I'm like, oh, you guys look dry. Here's some water. The rest of them like.
It's like when you get home, watering your plants isn't usually on your mind of things to do. Not mine's anyway.
But like every Friday at work, I'll water my plants. And my husband brought me home a mummy the other day, and I was like, "Did you bring that home to die? Because that's what's gonna happen to it. It's gonna sit out on the porch and it's gonna die."
I watered mine last night. I got them. Not last weekend. The weekend before. It was the first time I watered them. And but I got them out of the what do you call it? Starters nursery. You go to Shady Maple, and it's not the one between the smorgasbord and their store. It's about 5 minutes behind it. These pots are like this size. They're $5. Massive. So it'll take them a little bit to die. So I'm awful. I planted like a couple of raised beds last year. And you know the weird thing, I had like this garden and I was gonna grow tomatoes in it. And then I got the pods and all this, and then just lay there and they died. They dried up again because I never watered them. So I said, you know what, I'll just throw them in here because I'm trying to fill it up with like kind of soil without buying a whole pile of soil. And that's what I done. The darn things, they didn't start growing the tomato plants. Next year, they grew again. I didn't even plant them. This year, I planted them. They didn't grow.
I spent like $1,000 on dirt and plants and stuff. My husband built me planter boxes all around our front yard. Not a single thing grew. My tomato plants are still like this big. I didn't get a single green bean, no peppers, no anything.
I don't know when the raised bed then, I never got the peppers. And then last fall, I planted beet, planted Swiss chard, planted carrots. If you seen them carrots, they're laughing. They were like this size. I mean, they were like dollhouse carrots. They were that size. And you know what? I only got like about 3 of them out of all these rows. That potatoes is good for breaking up the soil and everything as well. That's what I was saying.
We got to sign some stuff.
three. We gotta sign it. Harold, get the stuff out to sign, because I'm on a tight schedule tonight.
So back in session there.
Now, back in session, executive session, we talked about legal and personnel issues, we're back in session 8:54.
I make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay. Each of those, sign each of those, pass them down.
I'm not the vice chairman. I'm not the secretary, we're talking about.
Okay, don't sign that, sign the other one. You should have a signature block on it for.
Does this have to go to everybody, or just, it's just vice chairman, I don't see anything else, secretary?
Okay.
Was that, oh, is that the zoning ordinance?
That's the ordinance.
Oh, I have it here.
Zoning map is a document.
This month, right?
No.
We gotta sign it.
We signed that? So
Hey,
is that all new color codes?
You know, if you remember the last time we didn't do this, it was 2 years later, and we were trying to get people to sign, together to sign the official map.
Can't they be smaller?
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to sign down here. too.
Yes, you are.
One, two, three, four.